Hey guys, for today's video, I will show you how to create a virtual machine on FreeNAS 11.2-R and also putting the operating system on that virtual machine. So for this tutorial, we'll be using the Ubuntu 11.404 LTS. So first step is to download the installation file. You can I'll be using the 18.404 LTS or long-time support versions. You can download whatever version that you decide to use. Once you've done that, make sure that you do the checksum so that you can make sure that you got the good installation file. It's not corrupted during transmissions. The next step is after you download the file is to move it or to copy it to your FreeNAS storage, whatever directory that you want to create on your FreeNAS storage. I create a folder called VM and I put the ISO file, the Ubuntu 18.04.1 64-bit ISO on there. The next step is we're gonna create a virtual machine. So head back to the FreeNAS and run the FreeNAS menu homepage. You navigate to virtual machines and hit on the plus side to add a new VM. Then we're gonna go next. Operating system, Ubuntu is the Linux distribution, so we're gonna select Linux. And name, I'm just gonna call it Ubuntu. Boot methods, we're gonna keep everything as default. Then hit next. Virtual CPUs, memory size, this totally depend on what your system capable of and how much resources you can give to this virtual machine. So totally up to you. But for right now, I'll just keep it at the default setting. I'll show you how to change this after we create a virtual machine. So we go ahead and click next. Hard disk right here, let you decide define the size for your disk image. We're gonna create a new one, and then you define the size on it. The default is 10 GB, but put whatever value that you desire. And next, we're gonna select the directory where we're gonna store this image. I'm gonna store it on my VM, and type of this, you can use AHCI, which is fine, or because the virtual environment, I can use virtual IO for it. Then next, adapter, you can use the Intel E82545. However, if you hover over the question mark right here, it says that this is provide better compatibility with most operating system. However, the virtual IO provide better performance. So for this tutorial, I'll be using the virtual IO. And the MAC address is every time you create a new virtual machine, it automatically generate one for you. Attach NIC network interface card. Right here I have multiple, so yours probably you're gonna get at most it's 2 Ethernet adapter unless you get more. Select whichever the NIC that you'll be gonna be using, and hit next. Installation media, remember I told you guys to copy it into the FreeNAS storage. So this is where we can point it to that ISO file. There you go, and hit next. And this is the summary for the VM. The operating system gonna be Linux. Number of CPU 1, memory at 1 GB, and hard disk size gonna be 10 GB, and the name gonna be Ubuntu, and the installation media is gonna port it to the ISO file, and everything good to go. Hit submit, and there we go. We have the virtual machine set up. The next step is to install the operating system on it. The Ubuntu. I keep saying it wrong. Ubuntu 18.04 LTS. Before I do that, I'll show you how to edit the virtual machine, so just go there and edit. From there you have the option to increase the size of your CPU or the memory for your virtual machine, and it totally depends on what your system capable of. The more you put into it, it might affect your actual system performance, so be mindful about it. Alright, and once you done that, we're gonna go start the virtual machine and power on, and then we're gonna go to connect VNC, and obviously we're gonna go with the second option, install the Ubuntu into our virtual machine. And there it is. The installation is loading up right now. And from here on, it's self-explanatory. Just select your language, continue, and the keyboard layout, continue. For most of you live in US, most of it gonna be a default setting. Gonna be normal installations. So for we are keep at default, but for this tutorial, I don't want to waste you guys' time, because if I check it, keep it check on the download update while installing Ubuntu, it's gonna take a while, so I'm gonna check it out. But you should keep it on and continue. And that's one, you have to select that one, erase this, and install Ubuntu. You got three options right here. The first one is to encrypt this image. The second one that it allows taking a snapshot and easier partitions, resizings. Or you can go totally manual if you know what you're doing. Go with the third options. For this tutorial, I'm just gonna be use LVM and the default options, and hit install now. And dialog pop up. It asks you to confirm all the parameter settings, as well as the letting you know that the partition gonna be formatted, and the partition gonna be created on your disk image, and you hit continue. And select your time zone, or you can keep it at default and change it later on. And your name, my name, and your computer name, you can keep everything it generated for you. You can keep it, or you can change it whatever you want. I'm gonna change the computer into the name to Ubuntu. Oh, it's already access on my network. I think I create one with the same name already, so I'm just gonna call it Ubuntu Desktop, or actually I call it Ubuntu VM. Pick a username. Yeah, just my first name and last name are easy to remember, because I have so many virtual machines to remember. And then create a password. Oops. And because I will be putting the UEFI controller center on this virtual machine, when I want the server restart or power up, everything gonna be automatically logging in. So I keep the first options, but it's totally up to you what you'll be doing with this virtual machine. If you intended for my purpose, same as my purpose, to install the UEFI software controller on this virtual machine, then you should keep it logged in automatically. so it's not going to require the password. So may contain letter and digits hyphen. There you go. And continue. It should be quick since I check it up the download update during system installations. If you keep the download update during installations, it's gonna take a little bit longer. But you should, just to make sure that you got the updated apps and any digital list repository updated. This should take a moment. Alright, so now the installation is finished. It's gonna ask us to restart. Go ahead and restart. And then see, it's going to ask us to remove the installation media. I'm going to go ahead and close this window, go back to FreeNAS, and you can actually power up the machine. And run the options. We'll go down to devices, CD prompt. Just going to delete it out. You can always add it back in. The quickest way to do it, they did delete it out. And go back to the virtual machine, and we're gonna start it and power it on, and we're gonna connect to VNC. Interesting, it should be on already. There it is. And there you have it, guys. Since I did not select the option require the password when it log in, when it boot up, it automatically log in into the operating system. And that's it for this tutorial, and I'll see you guys in the next video.